And the other concern is that, oh, Max, I haven't got the budget to go and do all three. And that is absolutely granted. I understand that, and I see that all the time. So what I want you to focus on is some education, because if you can't afford to engage a third party, which several of my clients are in that position, then I would encourage you to now upskill or educate yourself. How old are you going to be before you start to experience life like you want it? I want to tell you right now, whether you like it or not, there is a better way to do business. Hi everyone, welcome to the Business for Builders podcast. My name's Max. I'm your host and I'm the CEO here at Smith & Sons Remodeling Experts Canada Inc. And I'm also the founder of EliteBusinessAdvisory.com. And it's a couple of months ago, I launched a business coaching business, and all to do with you folks. I was suppressing the emails and whatnot that came through, and finally gave in to public pressure and got cracking. So having a great time with that. Look, if you're thinking about engaging me as your good old business coach, I would do so reasonably sooner than later, because I am actually starting to run out of spots. I understand my limitations. So don't delay, and really get across there and book a consultation, EliteBusinessAdvisory.com, and hit the book a consultation button, and you get to spend half an hour with me, and I would love to give some value to you in that 30 minutes, and we can have a chat about the business direction that you have, and go from there as well. A little bit more housekeeping, like and subscribe, all that kind of beautiful stuff. We drop one of these every week, and be sure to leave us any comments, good and bad. Be gracious, and I will certainly get back to those ASAP, or as soon as I can. Appreciate it. Don't forget, Business for Builders VIP Facebook page, a private group over there. Make sure you answer the questions. Anyone that doesn't answer the questions, I've just introduced that because I've got to make sure that everyone is joining the group for the right reasons. We want to build a very, impactful community there, camaraderie community, and what's the other C? Collaboration. That's the one. Appreciate the heads up. So get across to there. The other thing I'm going to drop for the first time is, look, depending on where you are, business coaching may not be quite in the budget just yet. So what I want to do is just quickly throw out there, and I want you to go check it out. We talk about the 5 steps to freedom. We go from the creation stage, we go into the chaos stage, where I do see a lot of the builders in, and then we want to move them into the control stage, prosperity stage, and into the freedom stage. Now, everything that I talk about in my business coaching meetings, sessions with my business clients is all about the 21 silver bullets. Now, the 21 Silver Bullet Academy is something that you can jump in there, and for a very small investment, you can get about 23 videos and a boatload of resources that you can actually use to educate yourself. Now, it's in the double digits, so it's not going to blow your budget. So if you're not in the position where you either want to talk to me about coaching yet, or you don't feel like you've got the budget to talk to me about coaching, then I think the 21 Silver Bullet Academy at EliteBusinessAdvisory.com is going to be something that you should really consider. So look, it might be a great way to figure out what I actually do in business coaching with some of my business clients, and it might be something that you can actually use because at this stage you haven't got the budget to be able to even consider that. So I think if you're just getting started, and if you're a first-year apprentice, I would encourage you to go and get into this, because I've talked about this for the longest time. You've got to not just get credentials as a tradie, but you've got to go and understand how to manage and develop business. And those 21 silver bullets are life-changing. Now, right, just on that, I really encourage all of my clients to go and read a book called Mastering the Rockefeller Habits by Vern Harnish. If you are serious about developing business and developing as a leader and really seeing success inside of your business, then I would encourage you to go read that book. It's called Mastering the Rockefeller Habits by Vern Harnish. Right. Today, I am going to quickly chat with you. I don't think there's any more housekeeping. I think we're done. What I want to chat with you really quickly today, and I say that every time, but it always ends up being 20 or 30 minutes. So let me apologize in advance. Today I'm going to talk to you about good old-fashioned advertising, but really today, I just want to double down on a few areas and a few key principles and a few things to try and maybe enlighten you or confirm with you what you know you should be doing, and maybe give you some insight and some education around perhaps what are some things that you can consider as you want to think about venturing off into building a construction business. So I'm assuming that I'm chatting with apprentices, subcontractors, and building contractors or general contractors. But today, I'm going to talk to you about the different avenues that we use at Smith & Sons to generate inquiry for our builders. And it's super basic, and you know all this, but we're going to really drill down I got some heavy duty notes here, folks. So again, you might be driving down the road. I would encourage you to maybe save this episode and revisit it when you've got a pen and paper and when you can be maybe more controlled and having a good listen. Right. I'm going to talk about Google, social, local. That's what I'm going to talk about. It is that simple, folks. That is the overarching arena that we're going to play in tonight, and I want to call it tonight because it is tonight. And really double down on understanding better how that relate. What are the advantages, how they relate, and why are we doing all three? Now, before I get cracking, there's a couple of things I want to talk about, and one is, obviously doing this for yourself is possible, and there's a bunch of other resource out and about that you can probably help educate, and maybe some of you guys and girls have already got a fairly good understanding about how to do all or some or one of those three. But I really want to encourage you to consider, and the other concern is that, Max, I haven't got the budget to go and do all three, and that is absolutely granted. I understand that, and I see that all the time. So what I want you to focus on is some education, because if you can't afford to engage a third party, which several of my clients are in that position, then I would encourage you to now upskill or educate yourself. There is two books. There's two books that I want you to have a read. A guy by the name of Alex Hormozy, who is an absolute ninja, and we should, I think put him in the comments or something. We might be able to find that on Amazon, the book. It's called $100 Million Leads. And I've just finished listening to that audio book twice. I don't know why it is that Amazon's taking 3 weeks to deliver that book to me, but I have also ordered the hard copy because he makes reference to a lot of stuff in that book, much like I've done in a few other books that I've mentioned on the show. So that's the first one. And then the other one is called The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes. And it's a very practical resource that I'm listening to that one as well at the moment. So get out there and buy those books and educate yourself, folks, because if you haven't got the luxury to be able to pay somebody else to do your marketing for you, well then guess what? You have to do it yourself. Right. So when we're talking about Google, social, and local, all of those things or avenues or tools or platforms are there to help us do a couple of things as far as inquiry is concerned. And I'm going to list really the five objects when it comes to what it is, why do we do what we do in the way as advertising and marketing and lead generation, etc. And I'm breaking them down really quick. And I'm not going to dive into each of these because I really want to talk about those three areas and the important factors and why we do those sorts of things. Advertising and marketing objectives. The first one, we've got to target the buyer. So these are the things you've got to think about as you are wanting to do marketing, or advertising. The first thing we want to do is target the buyer. Then we want to capture the lead. We want to educate. Number 3, we want to educate, inform, and entertain. Number 4 is we want to interact as much as possible and foster community. Super important. And then we want to convert to sales. So if you've got those objectives laid out, then every time that you go to put together some marketing or advertising, and or as you curate and maintain your advertising, it's going to be really important that you focus on where you're up to. And, if you've ever put a comment on TikTok or YouTube, it's my thumbs that have responded to those comments mostly, like 90% of the time, 95% of the time. So be sure to understand that interaction is a big deal. And so as I talk to builders in my coaching meetings or coaching sessions, we've got to understand that, yes, we've got to have a brand, we've got to have a unique selling point, we've got to have the ability to be able to market and advertise, knowing when it's the right time to just do organic, know when it's the right time to pull back and do paid advertising, and then how we go about building those paid ads to generate leads. You know, it is a timing issue. How to analyze those certain parts as well is super important. So really, we just want to make sure that what we're doing is being effective, and that because we've got to get the best bang for our buck, folks. Unless you've got ridiculously deep pockets and you're not watching metrics and you don't care, then just keep throwing good money after bad, and hopefully you will get some results. But really, what we're trying to do is optimize the outcome and be sure that we are generating the right amount of lead. Now, just on that, the right amount of lead, if you want to do $1 million worth of construction work and your conversion rate is 20%, then you're going to need to get, about $5 million worth of inquiry. And so what can differ there is if your conversion rate is better or less, more or less than that. If you want to do more than $1 million in revenue, then obviously you've got to bump that up too. So it's always a good idea, because you need to be able to looking at those metrics and then monitor the metrics. And some of the guys and gals that are working with me as coaching clients will understand that we follow our marketing spend monthly, but also year to date. We want to know, based on the amount of jobs and the contract value, what's our customer acquisition cost in relation to the amount of money that we spend. What does it cost to acquire a customer? What's our cost per lead? In other words, every lead that we get based on our marketing spend so far, what does that lead cost us? We need to make sure that's at an industry standard. And then we've got to look at our return on advertising spend. What is the ratio? For every dollar of marketing money that I spend currently, we generate around about $112 worth of revenue. Okay, and then the other one that I've got is your lifetime gross profit compared to CAC. So at the moment, that ratio is pretty healthy. As for a $340 odd customer acquisition cost, I think we're generating about $12,000 worth of gross profit. So those sorts of numbers are what I watch before I even think about going and doing any ads, because I've got to make sure that my advertising spend is giving me what I want. And that is, I want leads at an appropriate cost to my business. Right. So I'm going to quickly run through here. Google, social, and local. Mostly going to be focusing on Google and social. Going to quickly touch on local. Look, and maybe I could just start out with local, because as far as my notes go, there's very limited. Look, I in this town of 40,000 people, we sponsor one of the boys' football teams at the school. We sponsor a BMX club, and we sponsor the local hockey. And so we've got a couple of 16-foot logos on the ice, and we've got a 16-foot rink board, and it's got Smith and Sons gear all over that as well. Because it's like some people say to me, so how many leads do you get from that? And it's like, it's not a lead gen tool, bro. So side note, just understand the difference between branding and lead generation. They are two different dynamics. Of course, if we get some recognition whilst they're sitting watching the ice hockey, and I shouldn't say ice hockey, whilst they're watching the hockey, because Canadians will drill me for that. Whilst they're sitting there watching the hockey and they're looking at my 16-foot rink board, and they're like, oh, what are those crowd? I've seen them trucks around. And that's the other thing. We've got vehicles on the road here with the wrap on it. Then they might sit there and they Google us, right? So now it goes from just being brand awareness to now going, yeah, actually, I've been thinking about renovating my kitchen. Now they jump onto their phone, because they've got it, and they start doing the search, and they could end up on our contact form. And some, I think, look, I can get off track. So local area marketing, super important. Make sure that you do reinvest and give back to your community, because you are trying to pull a living out of that community. I think it is only the right thing to find, and engage with some local area and get a local presence there. It's super important as well. All right, so let's go through these. So I'm going to talk really simultaneously between Google advertising and social media under these different banners. So Google advertising, social media, increased visibility. Google's the most widely used search engine. That's why we should do it. It increases visibility, ensuring that potential clients looking for construction services can find the contractor easily. Now, you got to make sure that your website, so if you were to Google kitchen renovation in this town, the ad that we would have out there for kitchen renos would come up, and when you click on that kitchen reno, it would actually take you to the kitchen page on our website. There's no point in dragging folks to your homepage and then making them fish through your website. I know you might want them to go on a tour, but the way that the marketplace is today, people just don't muck about. If they can't get what they want like quick, then they're going to move on. Now, organic search on Google is all going to come down to how good your SEO is. And so really at that point, you've then got to think about what is contained on my website, because this is what Google's going to do. They are going to look for the website that's going to serve Google's customer the best. And the Google customer is the person doing the search. Google does not want to send the person doing the search to a shitty website. Okay, so you've got to make sure that your website is on point, and those goalposts move all the time. So yes, you want to have SEO. We want to make sure that we have good content that's going to serve the Google customer the best, and that is going to give you a competitive advantage. Now, social media, obviously, it has billions of active users. Platforms like Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, all that kind of good stuff. And that increases the visibility as well amongst a diverse audience. So visibility is increased because of our use of Google and social media. Now, next thing, targeted reach. Okay, so Google allows for highly targeted advertising based on keywords, locations, and user behavior. Social media enables targeting based on demographics, interests, and behaviors. So when you think about that and you think that I can actually zero in on the most relevant part of the market, then that is an absolute advertising goldmine. And so you need to be aware that one of the benefits with Google and social has a lot to do with a targeted reach. Engagement and interaction. Social media is really what kicks ass here because it's fairly hard to interact on Google. So Google doesn't really have that much of an engagement or an interaction component. Right, but social media, it does a couple of things. It will provide you direct engagement with prospective or potential clients. And you can showcase your work and share project updates as well. So, sharing your expertise online is exactly what it's all about. You need to demonstrate and display. I tell every client that I'm working with in elite business that people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And why would you not have an expose online, particularly on your social media as well as your website, that demonstrates the credibility and develops your reputation as the authority? That's going to be part of the goal, okay? The other thing is, I just said that, industry authority, and helps you build trust with potential clients. See, when we put video testimonials together, and if we've got 12 video testimonials, I don't know what the count is, but video testimonials do a lot of the heavy lifting, okay? So there's a lot of social proof, but more than that, people get to ask us questions. Now, I love it and I've told this story several times to my clients, it's like we would have mobilized some content on social media, and it's done so well that we've pulled it in and said that is actually going to make for a good ad. And then we roll that out as a paid ad, and you've got to go through the traffic and the learning phase, on Facebook particularly. And then we throw that out there as a lead gen tool. Now, what I love is when we do deploy these ads, I love the fact that I watch the notifications come through and there's people that are liking the ad. And I really appreciate people that actually take the time to even like, because what it does is it reaffirms to me the fact that not only did it work organically, but it's now working as a paid as a paid ad, and it still resonates with the customers. Now, of course, some prospective customers or clients will go into those ads and they'll punch down. I think one of the comments we had recently was that I'm an interior designer and I've got 4 commercial bathrooms we want to do, and so I responded to that comment and said, hey, thanks for your comment. Here's the contact form. We'd love it if you got in contact with us, and I just left it with him. Now, I'm not sure what transpired. I don't believe that something came of that, but at the end of the day, it was the interaction that was important, and having that direct engagement is the idea of engagement and interaction. We really develop trust too by being responsive, not just to the first phone call, but to what they put there as far as information goes. Can we help them? Can we educate them? Can we keep them informed? How can we help you? How do we serve our client base? And that's really something that it takes work. Don't get me wrong. I mean, everything that we're doing in the business, really for us to push through these ceilings, guys and gals, we're going to have to really we've got to work hard. We know that, but I know that there is a limitation on our activity level per day. And so we need to be very strategic in, how we're deploying, our own resource. Okay, measurable results. This is what I love about Google and social. Unfortunately, to a lesser extent, let me say, things like, local area marketing, that I don't have. Unless I put a QR code, somewhere on that advertising that people can get up close and personal to and hit the QR code, or there's a special number that we've put on that billboard or that signage or whatever the case may be, then it registers. I know I had a conversation with the Yellow Pages guy. See, I'm very open-minded. I don't go and bin everything that's a little old school, but I love the measurable results. The robust analytics is what's important to me. I want to measure performance of my ads, and then I can really, when I'm measuring metrics such as I've got clicks, impressions, conversions, and engagement, this data really helps me in refining advertising strategies for better results. Right, next one, adaptability and flexibility. The good part about this is if you're talking traditional and you roll out an ad and you make a typo and there's a phone number backwards or whatever the case may be, or you think, I want to change that call to action or whatever, or I didn't put the website on there, it's too late. It's going to roll out for a month and that's just the way it goes. So there's no, has a very low flexibility. Whereas with social, I know this, I've seen some copy that's gone out and I'm like, it's come across my feed and I'm like, what? And I've been able to grab those 3 dots, edit the post, edit the copy. Now I'm happy. That is what I love about social, and the same too with Google advertising. So we can adjust budgets, target parameters, add creatives based on performance, and we can change, and changing business needs, we can then make the modifications. Right, last one, competitive advantage. We really like to leverage on these channels, but mainly, especially if competitors aren't optimizing their online presence, then that by default gives me a competitive advantage. And so we're very bullish on this. I spent hours and hours and hours and hours watching, YouTube videos of Gary Vaynerchuk. And of course, still to this day, I listen to his podcast, and he's diversified so much. And, but in the early days, it was very much, give value, and then ask for the business. And so for me, really having, doubling down on that, I felt that gave me my competitive advantage. And certainly, in my neck of the woods, even here, when I look at competitors' website, nobody's got as many nobody's got as many video testimonials from clients as what we do. And it absolutely categorically does a lot of the heavy lifting, on our website. So we certainly do have a massive competitive advantage. All right. In summary, a strategic combination of Google advertising, social media presence, and local area marketing initiatives allows builders and general contractors to enhance visibility, engage with potential clients, showcase their expertise, and stay competitive in the digital landscape. Folks, great to have you with me. I'm going to shut it down right now. If you've got any questions, be sure email me, max@elitebusinessadvisory.com. If you want to chat with me about what's it all about as far as the Elite Business Advisory business coaching, get across to elitebusinessadvisory.com, hit the book a consultation button, come and see me. Don't forget the Business for Builders VIP Facebook page. Get across there, answer the questions. I'll let you in if you're a good sort. And don't forget, like I said at the start of the show, make sure you go and check out the Silver Bullet Academy on the website, elitebusinessadvisory.com. For a very small investment, you get access to hours and hours of videos, and you can just digest those at your leisure, as well as a bunch of really selected content as far as Word docs and spreadsheets, and even some book resources that are on there. There's a boatload of stuff that can help get you into the position where you start to understand how much is to be learned if you are going to build a $2, $5, $10 million business. I wish you all the best. Go build a kick-ass business. See you in the next episode. Cheers.